So last night I was texting with a lot of new startup friends that I've made, and they are in the phase where they've created their first minimum viable product and they're ready to start heading out with their product to the wider masses and start selling it. So they started asking me a lot of advice about how they could actually do go to market of an enterprise startup play. So I felt like I was giving this advice very often, and it was always being hidden in bespoke meetings or conversations. But at this time, I'm repeating myself so much that I felt like I should just share this advice with the broader LinkedIn network. The first thing I need you to do before you start selling is to change your mindset immediately. The first mindset shift that I need you to do right away is to grow a thick skin. In order to do enterprise sales, you have to talk to a lot of enterprises at the same time. So you're going to be talking to maybe 100 enterprises if you want to close a couple of them. And I mean like 4 or 5 of them within a reasonable time span. In the enterprise selling motion, you never get a no. Nobody ever says the word N-O, no to you, which is pretty frustrating because if they just told you no, you wouldn't have to waste your time and you can immediately start talking to other prospective customers. So the first thing you need to do is to understand that anything that's not an absolute yes from an enterprise company is an absolute no. Time is very precious. You only have 24 hours in the day, and so you should be trying to foster relationships with accounts that are actually going to buy something from you. The second mindset shift that you need to have is to have strong disdain for a very unbusy calendar. If you are trying to sell to people, your calendar must be packed to the brim because you have to assume that you're only going to close a couple of accounts if you talk to a lot of people. If you talk to only a couple of people, there's a very high chance that all of them won't close. My friends and myself included, we've all been in situations where we've only been talking to maybe 1 to 2 enterprise companies that were very hot on our technology. However, something would just happen. Maybe a stakeholder leaves or the budget gets eviscerated or initiatives just change suddenly out of nowhere, and then you have to start back from square one. You must have as many conversations with as many people as possible to avoid wasting time. And the final mindset shift that you need to have is to understand that enterprise buyers are people just like you and I. You and I don't like to sit through long presentations with size 12 font for 1 hour to understand why I should even be here or listen to this product offering. And they certainly won't either. But you have to mix this in with that other advice that I told you that nobody's really going to tell you no. So they might politely sit through your entire presentation, but you just really wasted their time and your time. This final mindset shift is the hardest for startup founders to appreciate. Many of my startup founder friends have an impression that enterprises need to see walls of text of white papers and long meetings or demonstrations of why their product can be wildly customizable or configurable in order for them to get an enterprise sale. This could not be further from the truth, and it's even less true today because of work from home. Your average enterprise buyer, whether it's a VP or a senior director or a junior associate, is working from home using mobile devices, and now they're competing with both consumer digital experiences like your Facebook, your Twitter, your YouTube, as well as other digital things that bring them into work. For example, Microsoft Teams, Slack messages, emails, as well as LinkedIn professional networking messages. All of these things are competing for their attention. So now you are in that competition ring and you need to figure out how to cut through. And verbose, complicated pitches that require a lot of time is a great way to get ignored.